Hey guys, so today is a mini tea video where I talk about a few little things that have happened on the internet recently. So that's that. Instagram, Twitter, follow me on there. It's a fun time. But also, second channel. It's on like 106k, so if you want to contribute to that number and everything going on there, then do that. A link will be in the description along with social media and any other links that I might mention throughout the video, so check that out if you want to. And yeah, a lot of you guys have been tagging me in Gabby Hanna's video addressing everything, but I think that is way too much to put in a mini tea, so I'm probably going to end up filming a separate video about it that will probably be up before this video. So when you're watching this video, the other video's probably up by now. Anyway, that's just what I'm saying. That's it. That's it. So let's get into it. The first story is James Charles. If you guys don't know, me and James Charles are actually the best of buds right now. That's really cool. He did unblock me. And yeah, that's... it's great because now I don't have to use a second account to go see people's tweets. Jeffree Star, I'm still waiting for you. I really am. So James Charles tweeted out saying 1 year ago today, a cultural reset. And he posted his social blade, which is probably the most iconic social blade screenshot I've ever seen in my life. And if you guys know, I am a bit of a social blade connoisseur. I used to make videos called The Road to Irrelevancy, where the whole point was just going through people's social blades, seeing what's happening on there, going through people's videos, and then trying to assess why their social blade is the way it is, whether it's good or bad, and then applying that to their videos and how they can change or why they should stay the same. So I am a big reader of the social blade. So this was really the most iconic one I've ever seen, and it was him starting to lose subs at a very rapid pace to the point where he lost 3 million subs within probably about a week from the Bye Sister scandal. So if you guys are somehow not aware of the internet, Tati Westbrook, who was basically like a mum to James Charles, made a 45-ish minute expose on James Charles and his behavior behind the scenes. So things like his behavior with different boys, his behavior towards her, his behavior at Coachella, for example, him promoting Sugar Bear Hair, which is a Halo competitor. There are a lot of things there, and you can tell she was clearly very distraught filming that video. I think possibly she would have phrased things very differently if she had not been filming in the heat of her emotions, but I think that's what happens sometimes people just use their emotions a little too much instead of, you know, waiting things out and then seeing how they feel about things a little bit later on. Then Jeffree Star jumped on board and basically said everything Tati is saying is correct, and then actually went back on his word and said that he doesn't agree with Tati for calling out James. And Jeffree Star said that recently, that he basically threw Tati under the bus and said she shouldn't have made that video, she shouldn't have called James out. But then he's also saying that he's got proof that James is a predator, so like, what is it? He also called him a danger to society and said that he's banned from the house and that everything Tati said is correct. So there is a lot of contradiction coming from Jeffree Star's mouth, but as you guys know, that is a constant on the internet. It's something that just doesn't change. So anyway, going back to the tweet. So he says 1 year ago today, a cultural reset. And I think it was. I think this was like the moment where the internet took a wild turn for possibly the worst. So I actually quote tweeted that and I said something along the lines of, this day will go down in history as the official online World War III. And someone actually called me out for that and said it was insensitive for me to tweet that. And then James under that says, in all seriousness, this past year sucked. I wouldn't wish what I went through upon anyone, but I am so proud of the person I am today. It made me stronger, smarter, but most importantly, more motivated than ever to work hard, and I can confidently say I'm finally happy again. We're getting close-ish to 20 million subscribers, have an incredible beauty competition show airing, Sisters Apparel is relaunching, amazing videos coming soon, and so many other things that I can't talk about just yet. I'm just really grateful for my friends and team that helped me get through this past year. I'm grateful that they talked me out of making an irreversible choice when I was at my lowest point. I'm grateful that I'm still alive today, and I'm grateful for each and every single one of you. And then someone actually replied to that and said, flushing her vitamins down the toilet. And James Charles replied to that saying, no need to drag her, please. And then someone said, we need to educate her. And he said, trust me, she's well aware. Please leave her alone. Someone else says, this legit shows so much growth on your part, which is very true, because he could have just continued to like allow people to drag her and allow people to, you know, on her, because Tati has been in the red right now. I sound like Jeffree Star right now, but at least I'm not a hypocrite, so you know, that's really cool. Tati has been actually losing subs since then. So James Charles is actually on a rise. He's gaining about, I think it's 800,000 subs every month, which is incredible. And then Jeffree Star is gaining about 400,000 subs a month. And Tati's actually losing an average of like 1,000 every few days, I think. Or is it 10,000 every few days? I can't remember. She's losing at a semi-rapid pace. And I think she is the one that's actually managed to come out of this the worst, even though she seemed to be the like hero of the story at the start, which is a really strange turn of events. But it also kind of shows the other side of the beauty industry that people have been kind of mentioning lately. And I got this from Amanda on YouTube, here on YouTube, where a lot of the time when there is a scandal in the beauty industry, it happens to always end up with the woman getting cancelled for a really long time and the men coming out untouched. So it's a really weird dynamic, and it's not just any men, it is white men that come out untouched. They come out thriving, growing, prospering, everything else, whereas the women end up really having to like work hard to rebuild their careers. Laura Lee being a great example of that. She's just about now growing and getting good views again, but not as good as before the scandal with Jeffree Star. Tati is the only one in this trio that is losing subs when there is really no proof for either direction. Like, there is no proof that James is a predator, but there is also no proof that he isn't a predator. If you were to ask Jeffree Star, he would say that he has all the tea in the world that he just can't show. So I mean, this whole situation, like I said before, is super confusing and we will never know the truth, but it's really strange how some people manage to come out of scandals just even stronger and even bigger and with even more of a following, whereas other people will end up damaging their own careers while trying to damage someone else's. I'm not saying Tati had this like vendetta against James and that she was trying to like drag him through filth, but at the same time, you have to expect that to be an outcome when you're making an expose video on someone. Like, you have to expect that for there to be consequences for that person. You can't just make a video and then be like, oh, well, I didn't want to cancel them, because it would just happen naturally. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent right now, but that was a really interesting situation. And I know a lot of people are now supporting James rather than Tati. So for example, people like Manya Mue commented under this, Nikita Dragon's still friends with James. I think Gabriel Zamora is still friends with James as far as I'm concerned. Like, all of the beauty community. I know Patrick Starr is still friends with James. They're all filming collabs together as well. They recently filmed that huge fundraiser collab with like Nikita, Patrick, Louis, Glam and Gore, like just a lot of people getting involved in this collab. So I'm assuming James is like, you know, friends with everyone again. Everyone is on his side. But it's really strange that in this kind of time, Tati moved back to Seattle from LA. I'm not trying to make conspiracy theories, but is it possibly because she doesn't feel welcome in that community anymore? And I know LA is a very group-based mentality where it's like all against one, or like, you know, you have to find your like group of people and then stick with them. Otherwise you'll basically get lost in LA. So is it possible that maybe she just kind of didn't feel comfortable in LA anymore and that's why she moved out? Because it just seems like everyone's either on James's side or Jeffree Star's side and no one's really on her side, and LA is just full of people that are friends with James. I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there that she recently did move to Seattle from LA, and it seems like James is really on the up and up from this. This has taken me a long time to explain this situation. Next thing is, Adeline Morin is she used to be a DIY type YouTuber that I used to watch when I was like 12. She actually did that whole video where she like dyed her hair with Kool-Aid and all that good shit. And she's now filming possibly like vlog style content, and she has been in some scandals because of undisclosed ads on her Instagram, which I've mentioned before. But another thing is, she recently came back from America to Canada, and then she was driving around to her family and handing out gifts as if she couldn't wait a few weeks or a few months to hand out the gifts. So people are saying if she had bought something back from America, is now spreading it to all her family members, who are then going to go out to the grocery stores to buy their essential items and then further spread it to other people. This is how things spread. So keep your visiting down to a minimum if you can. Go get your shopping done, you know, do all that. Don't touch people, don't come close to people, and try to keep away from big gatherings if you can, is the lesson for today from Angelika. Next thing is, Nikki tutorials recently for Mother's Day. She actually she did like a makeup look with her mum, and then she posted on Instagram where she obviously tagged her mum's Instagram. So when people went over to her mum's Instagram, what they realized was her mum is still shilling, like spreading an MLM message. So she's still working for this MLM that Nikki like apologized for promoting, which is Young Living, I believe. It's like essential oils MLM. And if you don't know what an MLM is, how many times am I going to say MLM? I swear, if I say MLM one more time, I'm going to summon a boss babe and she's going to appear right here in front of my eyes. A multi-level marketing scheme is also known as a pyramid scheme in simple terms. A pyramid scheme is actually illegal. Multi-level marketing managed to slip through the legal cracks, but they have the same basis, the same concept, where there is one person at the top who employs two people, and those two people employ two people each, which is now 4, and those 4 people employ another 2 people each, which is now 8, and so on and so forth. You actually end up making more money from employing people than you are from selling products, because if you want to be employed by Young Living or all those other MLMs, you have to buy a certain amount of products to be able to sell them. So what you're doing is, for example, right, the one person at the top employs 2 people and they spend 5,000 each to start on this journey. So they spend 10,000, out of that 10,000, let's say he gets 5% at the top, right? And then those 2 people actually don't end up selling any products because those products are awful and no one buys them. But what they do manage to do is employ 2 people each. Now there's 4 people now have to spend 5,000 each again. So now there's 20,000, and of that 20,000, let's say 5% goes to, I don't know the commissions exactly, I'm assuming different MLMs have different percentages that people at the top get, but let's say from that 20,000, the 2 people that employ them get 5% each, and then from that, the person at the top gets another 5%, for example. So that's kind of how it works. Usually profits are not from sales, profits are from referrals and getting more people involved. And that's why it's called a multi-level marketing scheme, also kind of known as a pyramid scheme, which is illegal. But MLMs kind of slip through the cracks for whatever reason. So they're actually highly damaging. If you guys don't know, they actually end up putting a lot of people in debt. I think the statistics on it are awful. It's something like only 1% of people will make a profit and 99% will either barely break even or lose a lot of money. And if you watch any documentaries on MLMs, there's some on YouTube and there's some on Netflix where people speak about their own personal journeys with MLMs, where they had to sell their homes and cars because they just couldn't afford things anymore, because they just kept on going in debt and then panicking and then buying more products and trying to shill more products and then losing more money in the process. There are a lot of like ins and outs where, for example, this MLM, if you make X amount of money, will give you a car, but the lease on that car will be in your name. And if you start to lose money or not refer enough people, you will have to start paying for that car yourself. And a lot of time it's something like a G-Wagon or some kind of a Mercedes where the lease on it is like $500 to $1,000 a month. And these people are already losing money from this MLM. And then on top of that, have to pay an extra $1,000 to lease this car that they are now not getting for free anymore. But they like to make it look like it's this like fantastic lifestyle where they're getting so much free stuff. You're not really getting free stuff though. There was also another situation recently where these MLM groups were invited to go on holiday, but because of the Voldemort situation in the world, the pandemic, the holidays were cancelled, and a lot of them slipped up. And some of them were saying, oh, our brand is taking us on a holiday trip to somewhere, and then some of them actually slipped up and said that they were trying to get the money back from the plane tickets that they paid for. So this wasn't a free holiday, you had to pay for the travel to get there. So there's just a lot of situations where they try to make it seem like this MLM lifestyle is a lot better than it is, when in reality they end up losing a lot of money from simply spending money on the products that they never end up selling, or even end up losing money from gifts that they were given by this company that they then have to cover themselves because they're not making enough profit for the company to give them that thing for free anymore. So it's actually in their contract, like if we give you a car and you stop making profit, you stop referring enough people, you are going to have to end up paying for that car yourself. That's why the lease is in that person's name and not in the MLM company name, because usually if a company gives one of their employees a car, the lease is in the company's name and not in the employee's name. And so is the insurance, except at least that's how it's in the UK. The company name will be on the insurance company and on the insurance policy and on the lease policy, but then it will be said on there that you have like extra named drivers and then you add the employee as a named driver on top. The companies don't do that. They will put you on the insurance policy and they will put you on the lease, but they will be paying for that lease for you until you stop making profit. Do you know what I mean? I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. So MLMs, bad. I don't know why I had to do that to symbolize that they're bad. But Nikki Tutorials' mum is actually a part of the MLM lifestyle, and by Nikki linking her Instagram under the picture, it pushes more people in the arms of an MLM. I understand that you want to support your mum and you're going to link her Instagram, and it's really cool and fresh. I love Nikki Tutorials, I really do. I have nothing but love for her, but when you know your mum is promoting an MLM, even if you're not aware of what an MLM is, you can quickly look it up. And I bet if her and her mum have a good relationship, I don't think her mum will ever go bankrupt. I mean, Nikki Tutorials is rich. She has a lot of money. She makes a good living, so even if her mum was in some form of trouble, I'm assuming that Nikki would help her out. But many people don't have a multi-millionaire YouTuber to help them out. So many people do end up in a lot of debt and end up going bankrupt, and it ruins their credit score for the rest of their lives because they're getting credit cards out to cover, all the debt that they're in. So I just think to promote your mum's Instagram when she is shilling an MLM is highly irresponsible when you have that many followers, and that's just all I wanted to say on that. No hate towards Nikki, but I just think it's super irresponsible to push people in the arms of an MLM. And I will be deleting, this is the only time I really ever do this, I will be deleting any MLM boss babe comments. So if you comment under this with, oh, I'm a boss babe and everything she's saying is a lie, please buy my product, I will refer you to whatever, I will be deleting your comment because you will not be taking advantage of my audience. Absolutely not. So your comment will be deleted immediately. The next piece of tea is recently Huda Beauty has announced that she's releasing a mascara, which that's fine, but she said it's clinically proven to do something and something, right? It was like a claim that she made. And under that post, I think it was a trend mood post to be fair, because it says hashtag trend mood. Under that trend mood post, someone said you can't clinically prove a mascara. Not only is it illegal to claim something is clinically proven when it isn't, it's also false advertising that goes against FTC guidelines. And who popped up unannounced under this trend mood Huda Beauty related post out of fucking nowhere? He wasn't tagged, he wasn't asked for his opinion, but who was it? You have like a few seconds to try and make, you know, random guesses. It's Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has now deleted that because I went through all 150 replies and couldn't find it, so it's not there anymore. But Jeffree Star replies saying, exactly, she is ruthless and only cares about money. I think a long time ago she used to actually enjoy creating content and beauty products. Says someone who never really uploads videos. You uploaded 4 videos, I think, on TikTok reactions because you knew that that was what was popping right now. You don't film videos anymore really. When you do, it is some kind of a product shilling device. You don't make content because you enjoy content. You don't really review stuff unless you have some kind of a gain from it. For example, the Jaclyn Hill highlighters that he reviewed, he knew Jaclyn Hill was in hot water, so the review would get a lot of views. He did the TikTok thing for a while because that was getting views, but in between that, I don't see you making reviews of just random stuff anymore. I don't see you having a consistent upload schedule. I don't see you doing tutorials of any makeup looks, because whenever you're wearing makeup, it's someone coming to your house and doing your makeup for you. So to be like, oh, I think a long time ago she actually enjoyed creating content. Yeah, I think a long time ago you enjoyed creating content too, and now you clearly don't because you don't do it on a regular basis. Also, who asked Jeffree Star to reply to this random comment under a random account? Not a random account, Trend Huda's huge account, but it wasn't Huda's account. It was a Trend Huda account where he saw a Huda product and decided to go into the comment section just to see if he had something to reply to and bring in his 2 cents, and people were not happy about it. If you go through the 150 or so replies, every single one pretty much is hate towards Jeffree Star. So someone said, bruh, you're one to talk. Didn't you support a file because you needed money? Ironic. Oh my god, exhausting, dude. Instead of that, be happy for others' success. Good vibes. She is ruthless and only cares about money, says the man that flaunts his wealth every chance he gets and attacks his competitors any chance he gets. At least Huda didn't willingly work with a file, bully people online, or call black women derogatory names. Wow, people are snapping and I don't even have to do it for them. How incredible is this? People doing my job for me. You guys are so great at it. Weird, because you couldn't clinically prove that James was a predator and you still said it. Don't care, didn't ask, plus you're a danger to society. I love that one. Wow, it just slips off the tongue. It's just great. Jesus Christ, Jeffree, stay off other people's business. You are blessed. Stop trying to spread bad energy. Let Huda deal with it. Jeffree always on the attack whenever Huda is involved. By the way, I didn't like that comment. The like on it is because that screenshot is from Twitter, so that's someone else must have been liking it. Jeffree is so bored in his house that he has to insert himself in everything, and that was that on that. There was a lot more where that came from, but we'd be here all day, so that's interesting. I think the Jeffree Star bubble is starting to burst a little bit because I think people are seeing through what Jeffree is and the lies that he spreads and the hypocrisy and the two-facedness that's not even a word, of the Jeffree Star empire. Yeah, I don't really wish for anyone to get cancelled. I think it's one of the most stressful things that a YouTuber can go through, and I'll speak on that a little bit later on. I just think getting cancelled for like random tweets, well, not racist tweets or homophobic tweets or transphobic tweets or misogynistic tweets. I mean, just in general, like stupid. Some people find a problem in everything. Unless you're an actual problematic person, I don't believe you should be cancelled or should fear being cancelled. And it does happen to non-problematic people. But when you are as problematic as Jeffree Star, I don't think you deserve to have the amount of success that you do. And that's very mean for me to say, I guess, but I just don't think there's anyone on YouTube who is as problematic as Jeffree is. He's up there. I think he's up there with, you know, the likes of like Onision and just people like that. I think he's just as bad, he's just as problematic and just as toxic, but just in different ways. And that's on that. Recently, Charli D'Amelio deactivated her Instagram. She claims it's by accident, I think, because people are replying to her tweet saying like, this is how you can fix this. I'm assuming it was an accident, but people are saying that it's kind of weird timing because she just left the Hype House officially after breaking up with Chase Hudson, after allegedly he cheated on her, and recently Paris Hilton has been bullying the poor girl. So yeah, she's deactivated her Instagram. I'm not sure why, and she hasn't been posting as many TikToks recently, which is really, really upsetting because that is her main platform. And she has just been tweeting a lot that she feels a little, you know, self-conscious, or that she doesn't want people to talk about her body, which is all completely understandable. I don't know why people can't understand simple things. Like, she's a 16-year-old girl who is, you know, beautiful and she's talented because she is a professional dancer. You know, TikTok is its own thing, but she is actually a professional dancer behind the scenes. She's clearly got a good head on her shoulders. She's, you know, clearly got a good relationship with her sister and her parents. I think she's someone who is, like I said, unproblematic, and yet people try to find a way to ruin her and destroy her mentally, which is so upsetting. Also, some people have a problem with the way she dresses for TikToks and the way that she's like trying to be provocative because she's wearing a crop top. She's 16. In the UK, at the age of 16, you are legally allowed to move out of your house, have sex, have a child, and do many things. Also, in America, at the age of 16, you're allowed to drive a car, a vehicle that can possibly kill you and many other people. I think at the age of 16, she is allowed to drive, and she's also allowed to wear a crop top because a crop top isn't a crime. Neither is driving, obviously, but crop top's not a crime. let the girl live. Recently, with everything happening with Jeffree Star, Darby, and that whole situation, Paige actually filmed a video where she speaks about the fact that Jeffree Star actually DM'd her and kind of tried to manipulate her into being on his side. He said things like, you know the truth about me. Like, you know, people say that stuff when you don't really know the truth about them, because I don't think they've ever met. So it's like, how much can you really know about an online personality? Not much. But he's like, you know me, you know what I'm like, I would never do this, but you will get the truth out there, won't you? And it's so manipulative. He DM'd her and a few other channels that were following him. He has the rest of us blocked, so he couldn't really message us, and he knew that wouldn't really get him far. He now recently has blocked Spill Sesh. He recently blocked a few smaller drama channels, and now he's actually, well, allegedly released a privacy complaint on Paige's channel after she showed the personal DMs between him and her. So the weird situation is, so she posts this and she says, just for clarification, this is the email I received from YouTube, and it is from the YouTube email. Usually if you get a privacy complaint, it goes from the person whose privacy you violated, but YouTube's privacy wasn't violated, so it's very strange that the email is coming from YouTube. So it's almost like the person filing the privacy complaint is too scared to do it from their own email account, so they're getting it done through YouTube. And how many people realistically could get something like this done through YouTube? Very powerful, big accounts on YouTube with a lot of pull and a lot of money and a lot of power over what happens at YouTube. Like, I'm not saying YouTube would bend rules for people, but there's big players in the game, and they're, you know, important for YouTube to make money. So that's just what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So she says, this is how a privacy complaint emails usually look like, which is it comes from essentially the person who is filing the privacy complaint, more than it comes from YouTube itself. And then she says, my email came directly from YouTube. So it says no reply at youtube.com, which is the emails we get usually if, for example, right, your video gets demonetized, you ask for a manual review, and if your review comes back either positive or negative, you will get this email response. It'll be no reply at youtube.com, just saying, hey, your video either is suitable for monetization or it isn't. And it's an email you can't reply to because it's no reply at teamyoutube.com. So you should just get like random information from those email accounts, like your monthly wrap up. Every month, YouTubers will receive a monthly wrap up of their channel, like how many views you got, how many shares, likes, comments, so on and so forth. And it comes from the no reply at youtube.com account because it's just random information that you don't really need to interact with. But you usually wouldn't get a privacy complaint from that account. So she says the only emails that come from that address are promotional emails. So like updates to artist channels. And then she says YouTube usually have a separate email for complaints. It's called accounts no reply at youtube.com. Actually, wait, does the monetization thing come from this account or the other account? Anyway, roughly what I'm saying is YouTube has many different accounts for many different things that they do. So either your monetization thing comes from the no reply at youtube.com or account no reply at youtube.com. But it's the same thing. It's an email that you can't interact with. And you have any issues, you have to contact customer service, which is very strange. Why would you do that? Or you have to at them on Twitter. So she's saying it's very strange that her complaint came from a no reply email that you can't interact with, and it didn't come from the person whose privacy she actually violated. So she's actually not really sure who filed the privacy complaint. But if it's a video about Jeffree Star where she is showing a DM between her and Jeffree Star, then logistically, who is the one filing a privacy complaint? It sure as hell isn't like Steve somewhere. And like, obviously it's gonna be the person whose privacy she violated allegedly by showing personal DMs, saying this is all alleged information, but it all kind of sticks together, doesn't it? Allegedly. And the last very small piece of tea for today is Danny Khan and Mikey Tua are officially back together after his parents basically banned him from seeing her because of legal repercussions that he could face. They posted this TikTok together. Let's put like ukulele music over it. And that's it. So what I'm saying is, Danny Khan's birthday is on, I believe, March 7th. So she will be turning 14. She already has turned 14. I clearly have lost all concept of time during this pandemic, which is quite lovely because it is May now. I don't know why I thought we were not even in March yet, but that's great. So she has turned 14 this year, and Mikey Tua will be turning 18 in this June, or I believe July. I think it's June. So he'll be 18 this year, while she is now turning her ripe age of 14, which is now illegal if they happen to do anything. So yeah, great. I love that. I really do. That's very cool. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything comment down below, and subscribe because I post videos every time something happens. Hit that bell and you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and everything else in the description down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.